Hey y'all, it's David. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to start something that I've never done before since I've been doing Bible reviews. But first, just like all my other videos, this video is also sponsored by me, and you can check out my website. Oh my gosh, words. You can check out my website. The link will be in the description. It's davidleebrown.odoo.com. Go check it out, my website. That just came out, and that's a funny word. But anyway, if you go to my website, you can look at my book titled Hearing Love. The title is a two-word summation of the Shema. To hear, O Israel, the Lord is one, the Lord is our Lord, and you shall love him with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength. So it's a two-word summation of the Shema, and then the book is a 130,000-word commentary on the Shema. And so you can go pick it up. This has been my life message. There's more books to come, but this is the centerpiece because it's the greatest commandment, and everything else I write will be built upon this. And so anyway, I'm starting the next book now that will be titled Living Love, and we'll get into the beauties of the second commandment. But anyway, this is available now in hardback, paperback, and ebook on Amazon.com. That link's on my website. Also, if you enjoy the music that plays underneath my videos or any of my videos, it's all available for download at forloveoftheword.bandcamp.com. But that link will be in the description, or that link is also on my website, and you can visit that. And also, my website will take you to my teaching page, which is davidleebrownteaching.bandcamp.com, where I've got over 180 sessions and counting of all the sermon series and individual sessions, whether it was here at the local ministry or I was a guest in someone else's house. All the teaching, preaching, radio interviews, different things are all available on that website. You can download it for free. You can put in a donation, but you can also just put in $0 and download anything you want for free if you want the files, or you can just stream it. No ads, unlimited. You can go over there and imbibe. And then also on the website, if you enjoyed the work in the ministry of this channel, you can support my family and I in full-time ministry by giving through the satabernacle.org website. Or you can visit my Patreon if you're a little bit more content driven and you want to see some of the videos and some of the things that I'm offering over there as well, in addition to some music downloads. But all those links that I just said, yes, they'll be in the description, but they'll also be on my website. I just drove that one home, didn't I? I goofed up that word and I just owned it. Visit my website. Link will be in the description. So the new thing that I'm doing with Bible reviews now is I've got an out-of-print Allen reader. It's a New American Standard, but what makes this one so special is it's a 32 GSM. And we'll talk about why that's so special here in a second, and then my history with these. This one just came in the mail last week, and I'm just delighted to find, yes, another one, because I already have one, my wife has one. They're that good. But before I get into that, the reason I've never done out-of-print Bible reviews is in the past it's been harder to find them. But as the Bible community is growing, like the Everything Bible's Facebook page, the Bible Exchange on Facebook, the Bible Exchange website, eBay, and different things, it is actually pretty shockingly easy to find what you're looking for. You might not find it today if you go out, you're like, I want this specific Bible. But if you keep that in your mind and you keep checking and you stay on these websites, stuff will come up that's good. And I'm starting to see things that are popping up that I didn't think I would ever see again, and people are getting rid of them. Some of them have writing. Some of them, like this one, like had a writing on the very front cardstock and the presentation page, but the text block itself, the notebook paper in the back, everything was crispy, clear, and clean. And so, man, what a gem this was. Allen Reader, New American Standard, 32 GSM. So since it's getting easier to find some of these old out-of-print Bibles, I was thinking to myself, Bible reviews of out-of-print Bibles would serve really two purposes. I think it would help show publishers, those of us that are Bible snobs, like, hey, when you did these certain things, they were like really good. So maybe kind of add some of these into the new stuff that you're doing as well. There's a scripture about that, right? The wise man takes from both old and new. My first goal is to the publishers that do see these videos as an appeal to them and an encouragement to them, like, hey, we're doing good. Like, don't quit. Like, let's keep, like, honed in on what we've done good in the past, learn from those, and incorporate all that stuff. And let's not go back into another dark ages of Bibles. That was the 90s and the early 2000s, where everything you got was just baloney. Literally, like baloney covers, baloney bindings, baloney ribbons, just baloney. Baloney all over the place. So anyway, thanks to Bible Design Blog and some others that have really helped shape the Bible community and the Bible publishing world today. And so anyway, this is one of those editions where it's worth reviewing and bringing back up. Also, the second reason that I want to review out of print editions is that because they're getting easier to find, there might be some of you that haven't been in the Bible community as long, and so can help you best that I can. I got my first Cambridge wide margin goatskin in 2011, and after that I started getting some other Allens, some other Cambridges. I watched Evangelical Bible go from a bookstore to a Bible publisher and watched several of their first printings, and I have their first New King James as the first one that I jumped on board with Skylar, and I have several of their editions as they've been on the journey refining what they have for you now. And so there's several of these old editions that are just amazing and I feel like worth reviewing, especially since they're easier to find now. And so after this video, if you're like, wow, I really want to look for a 32 GSM Allen reader. Those 36 GSM ones are great and they'll get the job done and they're nice, no doubt, but it's not a 32 GSM Allen reader. So we'll get into that. The Allen reader New American Standard actually uses the typeface of this Lockman large print ultra thin. And disclaimer, I changed the ribbons to match a Thomas Nelson ribbon scheme that I had absolutely loved that they did for the New King James or the King James, I can't remember which one. And then I added the red undergold art gilding. So they don't come like that, I just added all that. I have videos on my channel on how to change the ribbons, how to add art gilding, and other guys got videos on that too. So if you just do a quick search, you can see a lot of stuff that pops up. I'll add my videos in the description if that's something you're interested in. But this is where the typeface came from. The complaint with these large print ultra thins is the ghosting. And so other than the ghosting on the paper, which isn't too bad, but when you compare it to the 32 GSM Allen reader that has significantly less ghosting than this, I would spend a few extra bucks to get the Allen reader. Great size, great format. It's not quite hand size, but it's not a bigger feeling Bible like the Quintel, because it's a little bit thinner, and I think that kind of tricks the brain. When you compare the Lockman to the Allen reader, you have the same footprint with the cover, but remember that Allen has a generous yep on it, and so the text block is actually a little bit narrower and a tiny bit shorter than the Lockman. So you have the same footprint as far as the cover goes, but a little bit smaller text block. So I don't know if they tweaked the font size to come down just a tad, or if they took some of the margin space out. My guess is that they took some of the margin space out to make the text block smaller on Allen. So you even have a little bit more compact feeling of a Bible, which is super nice. So that's where Allen got the text block from. Now when these came out, I want to say it was about 2015 or 16 when they did an Allen reader. And this was the first one that I was aware of that Allen printed at Youngblood. So they were going away from Chant and some of the other places that they used, and I'm not aware of other Youngblood editions before this, but someone might know a little bit better than me, but this was my first Youngblood Allen Bible. And so I got one in black. Now the story behind this is I already had New American Standards that I liked. I liked my Cambridge wide margin. I just had got the Skylar Quintel, like the big brick one, the very first Quintel that they came out with. So I had some New American Standards that I was using. My frustration with the Cambridge wide margin though is I would use that to preach and I would get lost in the small font paragraph format, especially after I had highlighted and marked in it. And so when these came out, they honestly weren't too terribly expensive. And surprisingly, they didn't sell that well. They sat on Bibles Direct for a long time. They sat on Evangelical Bible for a long time, and the initial two colors that they did was just a black and a brown, and I think they were like $185 or something like that. And so for an Allen goat skin, their first Youngblood printing, they just sat there, and I think one of the reasons they didn't sell is this cover on these is thick. Super plush, very, soft, nice natural grain, but compared to the newer 36 GSM, that has like the more traditional, thinner feeling Allen cover, where these covers feel thick. It's almost like it's wrapped in a goatskin pillow. It's just super plushy. And so it's the same way with both of these here, and my wife's got one too. Anyway, they just sat there, and because these covers are thick, the generous Yap didn't have that like nice squishy corner and wrinkled goat skin look, because they just don't do that because the cover is so thick. And so because of that, they didn't look like the Allens that I was used to seeing on Bible Design Blog that just had this different quality around the corners and on the edges of the spines that just looked amazing. So I'm like, the Allen kind of changed their stuff, and so I'm not really that interested. I have New American Standards that I like. But because they sat there, this one actually dropped down to $165 on evangelicalbible.com. And I remember thinking to myself, well, that's pretty cheap for an Allen. I'll just get it. And my mindset was, I'm going to just use the stuff out of it, and I'll just keep it in my backpack. I'm not going to care about trying to keep the pages nice or keep the binding nice. I'm just going to use it, which was a freeing mindset to have, because up to that point, all my Bibles were handled with just so much care. It was like, open them carefully, because this was so expensive and I don't want it to fall apart, and just I don't want to wrinkle the pages and all that stuff. So that had been my mindset, and that's the reason my ESV reader looks pristine to this day, even though I've been through several of the books, taking notes and writing in the back notebook paper. Just very, very careful with it. This one was cheap, and I just got it to beat up. But the more I used it, I realized, man, this is great for preaching. Like, I can see the verses. It's verse by verse. I never really thought that was a thing. This is really cool. And so I just really loved the typeface, and then the notebook paper in the back. Just fell in love with that. I really started enjoying this Bible. And so for as cheap as it was, and just the mindset of I'll get it because it's a cheap Allen and we'll see what it's like. And this ended up being my main New American Standard. And now if my house is on fire and I have to grab one Bible, it would be my 32 GSM Allen reader. Now the choice would be, do I grab the one with a history of notes, or do I grab one that I can build a new history of notes in? And this became so useful that my wife, who's not a Bible collector, but just uses the stuff out of her Bibles. She's in a PSQ right now, but she also got a petrol blue when they did the second running, when they started adding a couple more colors, and so she got the petrol blue, 32 GSM, same edition. And so she had one and I had one, and she was using hers, and she really enjoyed it. When the PSQ came out, she's been really using that, but this one still sits on her table, and she still uses it, though it's not her main Bible anymore. So now we're at the point where we have 3 of them, and the reason I got the brown one, now it was on Bible Exchange, great place to look for things like this, Bible Exchange on Facebook. Taylor Jenkins is the one that I got this one from. I purchased a tan ESV one from him, I think it was last year. And so anyway, because he's open to trades is how I got this, because I didn't have the money to put down. But he said he was open to trades looking for red Allen. So I traded my red ESV one and my red NLT reader for this one. Now, some of you might be like, oh no, why'd you do that? Well, this one is really valuable to me. I'm going to get into the difference between this one and the 36 GSM and why I like this and why I'm so happy to find another one of these. All right, 36 GSM Allen reader. Now, I changed the ribbons. This comes with the same ribbon scheme as this one. I don't really plan on changing the ribbons on this one because I don't really want to touch something that's like old and nostalgic. This one I was copying an older Allen scheme that they had put on their ESV reader a long time ago. And so I've always liked that green, purple, and brown on a brown Bible. I don't think I'm going to do that one on this one, but anyway, 36 GSM, 32 GSM. This is what the Allen readers are now whenever they come out. This is what they started out as, and I like this one better. The first thing I'll point out to you is, it's a heavier weighted paper on the new one, so it's a thicker text block. When you look at the spine, the thing that's going to make them look closer than the text block actually is because remember the cover on the 32 GSM is just thick and plush. The new covers are a little bit thinner. They're a lot floppier because of that, but over time, man, that black one, I've used it so much, and it's been my #1 used Bible for years that it's just floppy. So don't let the thickness of the cover deter you. It will break in, but at the beginning it feels nice where it opens flat, like kind of has that Pit Minion springy feel where it's just boing, it's open and it'll lay flat. And so the important thing is that it lays flat. It'll do all the Bible stretchies and all that stuff later. But thicker text block with the higher GSM. And so this is a more compact feeling. I mean, just those subtle little things, this feels a lot more compact. It slides into my bag or something easier. I can fit other things like journals or other Bibles in there. This feels closer to that hand size, even though, it's a bigger footprint than the hand size, but this just feels like a nice size. Now, this 36 GSM is better paper to write in, no doubt. The ghosting's better, but they're still both really nice paper. And then obviously same exact typeface. So no difference there. But the biggest thing why I love the 32 GSM reader is come to the back with me and gaze upon this notebook paper. I bought this 36 GSM Allen reader because I was excited about, it's better paper to write on, and my 32 GSM, the black one, was filling up, and so I wanted something that I could jump to when I'm done with the notebook paper in that one, or if I'm preaching through a book that I'd already marked up, it's like I want to mark that book up fresh. And so got the 36 GSM, super nice. I was a little bit like, wow, that's a really thin cover. It's soft. I was used to the thicker cover. I was used to the thinner text block. So instantly I'm like, okay, this is different, but it's the typeface that I know, so I'm good. And still really nice, and it's nice to have something that's a little bit different. My plan was to put this on the shelf and use it once I'm done with that black one. I'll probably still end up using this in my lifetime, but now it will be after this 32 GSM. And the reason why is when I turned to the back of this one when it came in, and I went to the notebook paper, my heart sank because I'm like, oh no, they changed the notebook paper. So the notebook paper before was perfect. In the 32 GSM, you have double column line notebook paper, and you have smaller lines. Now, I'm a goober and I write real big, but I can discipline myself when I'm in the Bible or, whenever I need to, especially with those Pigma microns, you can write really small. I was able to fit so much notes and organize them so well in the 32 GSM with that double column small line notebook paper. And so when I got to the 36 GSM notebook paper, you're missing over 10 lines per page. and it's all single column, which the ESV reader has similar notebook paper, but my note-taking wasn't as efficient. So my heart was just disappointed that the notebook paper was different, and that's really been the main reason why those 32 GSM Allen readers, it's all the things go together. The size just feels a little bit more compact and those little things, but then you go to the back in the notebook paper, and to me the notebook paper and the 32 GSM New American Standard Allen readers, that's the best notebook paper I've ever seen Allen do, and I wish that would just be the standard on any Allen that you get, that will be the notebook paper. It's still nice paper to write on in the 36 GSM. I just don't like how the lines are set up. I can use it, and so I feel like such an American complaining about these things. But, as long as we have options, these are the two options, and I would choose the 32 GSM every time over the 36 GSM. The ghosting is not that big of a difference. The writing experience and taking notes in these is not that big of a difference. The biggest difference to me is the notebook paper in the back, and then again I do like the feel of the 32 GSM a little bit better. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So if you're out there on Facebook Marketplace, if you're out there on the Bible Exchange, if you're on eBay and you're looking for these things, average for these right now I'm seeing is about $400, so stash something away and have it ready for when it pops up. Or maybe some guys are open to trades like Taylor was with this one, so man, thank you for trading with me. Truth be told, those two red Allens, like I had them, but I like my tan ESV one better, even though I've used the red one and I have history in that one. I didn't really use it that much, and the New Living Translation, to me, I really tried to stay in it because I fell in love with Jesus in that translation. That's when I first got saved. That was the first Bible I read through, was a New Living Translation. So wanted a nice Allen New Living Translation, but every time I picked up a New Living Translation, it's like, man, the literal translations have just ruined me, that when I read a paraphrase that just like totally destroys the literal rendering, I'm like, what were they thinking? Like, the New Living Translation's cool in a couple spots, and I still have some, but I don't really need one in Allen. I don't spend a lot of time in that translation much anymore at all. Like, I don't even have the Caxton anymore. Sold that one a couple years ago. So anyway, those two I just had on my shelf, and then was able to trade those two for this one, and I feel like, that was a pretty good trade, both of those for this guy, because this, to me, this is the greatest of all time. I don't know how it gets any better than this. So I'm like, let's not move too far away from it. Like, everything feels nice, and then that notebook paper though. This should be the standard paper in every Allen. And maybe Skylar could take a note, because I have not found their notebook paper useful too much, because it's the same as the Bible pages, and the lines are bigger. Once you use this double column small line notebook paper in the back of these 32 GSM readers, it's just game over. It's like the perfect Bible. So anyway, I hope you found this informative, and if you're good with sticking with the 36 GSM, I'm sure these will continue to be available just like this. And they're great Bibles, don't get me wrong, they're great Bibles, but it's not the 32 GSM Allen reader of old. And so those still pop up from time to time, so be on the lookout and you will find what you're looking for. You just gotta stay consistent with your hunt and keep looking for it. But anyway, this is my one. But thank you all for watching another Bible review. And I think I'm going to continue some of these out-of-print reviews for, again, the same purposes of complimenting the publishers on what they've done in the past, to not get too far from the good places that we've been with some of these, but then also make you guys aware so that you can be on the lookout for these. Since the community's growing, these old out-of-print editions are getting easier to find. And so I'll probably be back with a few more that you can be on the lookout for that are just great Bibles, because I have a lot of Bibles and it might seem like I'm a collector, but I'm a user. Like, I want something that I can use, and that's the reason I traded those two red ones for this one, is like, I'm not using those red ones and I'm not a collector. I'm gonna use this just like I use that black one. And then when both of them are full, yeah, I'll use this unless I can find another one of these. And I would do it too, but anyway, beautiful Bible, and the most useful Bible that I've ever encountered since I've been a Christian and in church leadership. And so, anyway, did I already say goodbye and thanks? I just totally blew my closing and started talking in circles again. How pastoral of me. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and end it right here. Thanks again for watching another video. Thanks for watching this long through all my pastoral talking in circles closings. But anyway, y'all have a lovely day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.